It has been so dry for this October, but big rain chances are on the way for Halloween. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. We got warm weather this week, temperatures in the 80s. Sometimes we may even break some records. But there on the last day of October, Halloween, this front that has now made landfall, producing some rain and even some snow in the higher elevations, is headed towards central Indiana, and it's going to be arriving here at home right on Halloween. So we wish it wasn't Halloween, but we need some rain. We need a lot of rain. This may put in a couple drops in the bucket, but it's not going to fix things. Right now we've got high pressure. It's been warm through the weekend. We'll be warm the next couple of days. But here is that front. This is a very early look at our rain chances. So things are probably going to change a little bit over time. We'll show you those adjustments as we get a little bit closer. But that front will arrive, and this is kind of a time snapshot right around lunchtime to about 3 p.m. Just generally the rain zone's what we're expecting. Generally, the farther west and the south you go, the more rain you can probably expect. As the system comes in, it will slowly be weakening, but we think it's still strong enough to produce some showers here at home and possibly a few rumbles of thunder. Best chances of rain will be west of Indianapolis and south of Indianapolis. This is probably where we're going to probably pick most of the heavier rainfall totals there towards Vincennes and south of Terre Haute into the Evansville area, up and down the Ohio River, and then eventually, once you get closer to Louisville, the rain chances do start to dwindle, and then that lighter green into Ohio is where we get lighter rain. But Indiana, we've got a decent chance coming in. So let's talk about the timing of what we can expect. We're still a few days out. This is an early look to kind of give you a rough idea on planning, because there's a lot of things to plan coming up for Halloween. A lot of different trick-or-treating activities. Maybe you push things to Friday because it's closer to the weekend anyways. But let's talk about the rain and how that could possibly impact you on Halloween. In the morning, when we're waking up, clouds will be increasing, but we may still have a little bit of sun there right at sunrise. But if you do get some sun, don't expect it to last very long. Clouds will increase, rain will increase. The first rounds of rain will start in northwest Indiana just because of the tilt of the front, but they're moving pretty much directly east. Best rain chances in the morning, west of Indianapolis. East of Indianapolis, we may wait toward the afternoon, right around lunchtime, recess for the kids. By the time we're headed home, that's when the rain will probably start to arrive. So here's right there in the afternoon, from let's say about 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We think that is our rainiest time right now. Now, once again, as we get closer to Halloween, these rain zones may adjust by a couple hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. So this is our best guess. But generally, we think throughout the daylight hours, that's when we're expecting the rain. And especially in the afternoon, very early evening, hopefully a decent soaker, but we'll watch. There'll be some scattered showers. There may even be a couple cells with a few rumbles of thunder. If you remember last week, we had some of those there Friday morning. But they were very splash and dashy. They were just isolated. Not everyone got some. Some of us got some, but not all of us did. We'll probably have more widespread coverage than we had there that Friday morning. But then if you notice, that lighter green starting to pop up there in northwest Indiana again. So this isn't going to be a huge rainmaker. It's not going to last for several hours, but we'll have much of the afternoon, hopefully wet. In the evening, close to sunset, let's say after 6 o'clock, these are our rain zones for the rest of the evening. Eastern Indiana, still picking up some rain. We got a little bit later, so also have it a little bit later. Once you go westbound, we may actually get a little bit of sun. They're close to sunset, so you may see a nice orangey sunset as you go west, perfect for Halloween, west of Indianapolis. Still that general 20% chance, we're thinking, so it's not a guarantee, but there may still be some lingering showers, but most of them will be pressing east. So there's a chance that some of us do try to dry out right around trick-or-treating. Once again, we'll work on the timing as we get a little bit closer, but there is that chance west of Indy. East of Indy, if it's not raining, things may still be kind of wet there on the sidewalks. But if it is actively raining east of Indy, that's where you may want to consider having some things, your costume a little bit more waterproof. Also, the wind will be picking up. As that front presses through, it's not just about rain, but we'll switch that south wind that's getting us warm weather this week to a northwest wind, and it's going to be blowing off Lake Michigan. So there may be a couple extra clouds and a few sprinkles to the north. That's why we kind of have this green zone. It's not just perfectly to the northeast. We kind of had to wrap it around and connect it with Lake Michigan just a little bit. So that's why we have that chance for a few showers continuing, but the best chance of rain will be east and south of Indy. So Richmond, Connorsville, Brookville Lake, Greensburg, Oldenburg, Batesville, we've got the highest chances to wrap up Halloween. So how much rain is headed our way? A little bit tough this early, but this is a very general look. We think there's a good chance that at least most Hoosiers will pick up a tenth or two of an inch of rain. Now take that baseline and then we can go up a little bit more. If you go north and east of Indy, northern Indiana, and extreme eastern Indiana, hopefully a quarter of an inch. Best rain chance we've had all month. but it's still not enough to really help things out. We need about 3 to 5 inches. So this is, 10%, if that, of how much rainfall we need across the state. Much of central Indiana, once you get outside of Richmond, you go from Newcastle right into downtown Indy, up to Carmel, Westfield, and back west to Lafayette, and then south just towards Bloomington, maybe a ½ inch or so, give or take. There'll be some of us that maybe get 0.6 or even 0.7 or maybe down to 0.3, but generally 0.5 is kind of a rough estimation of what we expect across much of central Indiana. Farther south and west you go, we may get more rain. As the system pushes east, it'll be weakening, but farther south, you're a little bit more connected with the Gulf of Mexico, and so we'll probably squeeze out maybe a little bit more rain. Quick caveat to all this. This is a general look, but there could be a couple little downpours every once in a while. If you're sitting in Marion, you see that 0.25. If a downpour hits you and lasts for a little bit, you may get a little bit more. Or if there's a little bit of a break in the rain over Bedford, you may get a little bit less. This is our best guess for now. We'll have updates as we get closer. But just talking about the impacts, sunrise to sunset, generally expect the rain. Maybe a little bit more towards sunrise in western Indiana, maybe a little bit more towards sunset in eastern Indiana. Takes a while to get across the Hoosier State. And then some of us may even be drying out by trick-or-treat timing. Hopefully get the rain earlier in the day, but we'll see. There are rain chances for now. Scattered rain, a little breezy weather, especially there in the afternoon. Northwest winds will start to pick up. We could have some gusts near 20, 25 miles per hour. So if you've got your costume that's really kind of wind adverse, just keep in mind, winds may pick up a little bit, but also watch out for just some showers, keeping things wet throughout the rest of the day. Here's your 7-day forecast. Until Halloween, gosh, it's warm. Soaking in, we'll be right next to record highs. You can see right below the temperature we have the record. So 81 there Tuesday, Wednesday 82. So at least on Tuesday, we're actively forecasting to tie record. We'll see. We'll get close at least. But then that front hits us Halloween. That is the one rainy day of the week. And so after that, we'll dry out. It'll be a little bit cool, a little bit windy for Operation Football. We've got the sectional semifinals there Friday. It's going to be chilly for that, especially in the evening. 59 is what you hit at about 3 p.m. So by kickoff, it's going to be in the low 50s. We'll probably have some wind chills there later too. And then the weekend, we'll slowly start to rebound. Pretty nice, but there may be an isolated shower on Sunday. But the best chance of rain this week is Halloween. We'll have more updates as we get closer to October 31st.